Every family has a black sheep. How did they get that way? And if you are the black sheep, how can you win? I will reveal at the very end a very important way that you can know you're winning. This is Hawk from Help a Hawk Healing, where we're freeing human hearts. In the description below, you'll find a link to the rules of the mind, which will help to augment and reinforce what we're learning here. Also, you'll find a link to 101 questions, which will help you understand better where you are in your life. The black sheep in any family usually started in the role of the scapegoat. And the definition of a scapegoat was, in the ancient days, people would pile all of their sins onto a goat. They would pray their sins into that goat and then sacrifice that goat to escape their sins. Thus, the scapegoat. Well, the scapegoat usually turns into the black sheep of the family. In the narcissistic family, one of the children is singled out, and they're always the scapegoat. The narrative is always manipulated around how they're causing the problem for the family. This can be very difficult to deal with, especially as a child, and most likely will never be overcome as far as the family members are concerned. However, you can overcome it for yourself. The child may be given special privileges, but they always come at a cost. I'm allowing you to do this because, I'm allowing you to do this if. It's always a transactional situation. And not only that, but those special privileges that are given that child may not be so special. Because of the transactional nature, they can usually be, oh, well, I'm going to let you go to the store, but you have to come right back, and this is what you have to get from me. And no, you can't use the change to buy a piece of candy for you. Or, I'm going to let you go to the store and you have to get this for me. You can use the change to get a piece of candy for you, but you're not allowed to tell anybody. And it has to be gone before you get home. And if you do tell anybody, I'll deny it. And I'll say you stole the money from me. Or you can't tell your mother, or this or that or the other. The black sheep usually always tells the truth. And when there's no corroborating evidence, then they're the liar. No, that's not true. I never said that. No, that's not true. I never did that. That's not something I would do. These are common situations. Now, how do I know this? Because I was the black sheep and still am. But I'm not worried about that. I'm unconcerned with it. The fact of the matter is, the black sheep usually is the truth teller and is usually blamed for telling the truth and is held up to public ridicule and shame for telling the truth. At the age of 4, my father took me somewhere. I don't remember where. I don't remember even what it was. I just remember it being a sunny day in the town where we lived in South Carolina. And I don't remember what it was we were doing, but he said, don't tell your mother or I'll deny it. Because it's something he wasn't supposed to be doing, and I was involved. And there might have been some candy or reward involved in order to convince me to keep my mouth shut. But he told me if I ever mentioned it, he'd deny it. That's a common tactic. I've never used that with my sons. I've always said, this is a matter that is between us and your mother does not need to know. Now, given the fact of how they will witness the relationship between their mother and I, they keep the peace. They keep quiet. And it's not necessarily about something I shouldn't be doing. It's just something they know their mother would not like. And they know that their mother doesn't like a lot of things that are actually pretty cool. Now, not everything I did was cool. And they love me as much as, or not, if not more, now that I'm no longer drinking. But they notice those differences in who I was and who I am. And I never make it a transaction with them. But my own parents did do transactional things. And they often use the tactic of, if you say this, I'll deny it. My mother never specifically said that very much, but she did use it. Here's an extra one for you. Shh, don't you tell anybody. Another thing that happens is with the scapegoat or the black sheep, they often get a worse punishment than others. And usually in a public way. With me, I was told, you have to protect your little sister at all costs. So something would happen. And I would protect my little sister. Now, if it was something we were both involved in, I would get the whipping and she would get the whipping. But then later on, when my father found out that a lie had been told about part of it, I would get another whipping. I remember once we were cutting out pictures in magazines and my little sister had cut out part of a National Geographic. And I knew Dad would be furious because it was the latest. It was the newest. And so I told him I did it. And yeah, I got it with the belt. I was 6. I got it with the belt. And it was taped up above my bed so that I would never forget. And then the next day when he came home, and he wasn't as furious, my mother told him that my little sister had done it, and that I had taken the punishment for it. Wow. I thought the day before had been bad. But then I got the whipping for lying about it. Even though I was told, even at the same time, I appreciate you for protecting your little sister, but you lied. Wham, 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 wham. And finally, when I was about 10, I stopped. And when things would happen, I would say, no, that's not true. I had no part in it. And my little sister would say, yes, you did. And I said, no, I didn't. And my father knew by then the signs of her truth and the signs of my truth, our body language. And I quit taking up for her. And one time he talked to me about it and I said, I'm not taking her beatings anymore. She lies anyway. Why do I have to be part of it? And that was another twist of why aren't you taking up for your little sister? Thank you for pressing the like button. I like it. The algorithm likes it. And if you like it, press the like button. Thank you. Being the black sheep, there were times when I was considered needy if I needed medical care. And my mother, having been a medical professional, that's fine, walk it off. Well, there weren't things that were always walk-offable. And I was accused of being greedy and gluttonous because I was a growing boy who was hungry. And I would help the neighbors, and they usually paid me in food. Here, have an extra peanut butter sandwich. Or here, have a bratwurst. Or here, have this or have that. And my mother would get furious. I'm not going to have them thinking we're poor. Blah, 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 blah. When all I wanted was an extra half a portion. And here she and my father are overweight. I'm getting told I'm eating too much. It didn't quite make sense. Never made sense. The black sheep always looks for the truth. But they quickly learn how to shade the truth so that they don't get the beating. But the whole family is included in the dynamic. Oh, you know how he is, or oh, you know how she is. And so everybody learns to agree to keep the peace. I grew up in a Baptist pastor's home growing up at Christian school, and I was reviled when I would use the teachings of Jesus against my parents' addictions. Or if I would point out to them what they were doing was not true or was against the teachings of Jesus. Wow. You're going to use the Bible against me, and then you're going to get mad at me when I bring the truth to you and say, no, this is what it says. There it is, right there. So I learned to hate religion. I learned to hate all dogma. And I still do, and I always will. I'm very spiritual. And I work to live a God-centered life, but I will not do it through religion. Because I see how religious dogmas, how political dogmas, how any dogmas are restricting, constricting, and inflicting